very good morning. It just past 8 this Wednesday morning and we're back again with all the news on Breakfast News. I am Nancy Kohli Mahajan and over the next 1 hour we'll get you news from across the nation, world, sports and business updates as well. But first a look at the top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets the members of the JP Morgan International Council in New Delhi. The council meets in India for the first time after 2007. Prime Minister Modi discusses the vision for making India a $5 trillion economy by 2024. India's strategic capability gets a further boost. The Indian Air Force successfully test two BrahMos surface-to-surface missiles, hitting the targets 300 km away with pinpoint accuracy. Security forces gunned down 3 terrorists in Pulwama. Huge cache of arms and ammunition recovered. Major breakthrough in the Kamlesh Tiwari murder case. The Gujarat ATS nabbed to suspected killers from Gujarat-Rajasthan border. Russia and Turkey strike a deal to jointly remove the Kurdish fighters along the Turkish border in northern Syria. The deal underlines the changes in the region since the US President Donald Trump announced the withdrawal of the US troops from Syria. Ganguly to take over as 39th President of the BCCI. It will end the 33-month reign of the Supreme Court appointed the Committee of Administrators. Our top story, the JP Morgan International Council met Prime Minister Modi in New Delhi yesterday. After 2007, this was the first time that the International Council met in India. While welcoming the group to India, Prime Minister Modi discussed his vision for making India a $5 trillion economy by 2024. He said that the development of the world-class physical infrastructure and the improvements in affordable healthcare and providing quality education was some other policy priorities for the government. Prime Minister Modi added that people's participation remained a guiding tenet of the policy making for the government. On the foreign policy front, India continued to work together with its strategic partners and close neighbors to build a fair and equitable multipolar world order. And Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday. The Prime Minister tweeted that he had an excellent meeting with the Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee and praised his passion towards human empowerment. Banerjee said he was privileged to have met the Prime Minister and called it a unique experience for him.
Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee on Tuesday called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi and held a healthy and extensive interaction on various subjects. After the meeting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted and said, "Excellent meeting with Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee. His passion towards human empowerment is clearly visible. We had a healthy and extensive interaction on various subjects. India is proud of his accomplishments, wishing him the very best for his future endeavors." Abhijit Banerjee said he was privileged to have met Prime Minister and called it a unique experience for him. He said discussions on governance took place during his meeting with PM Modi.
It was a privilege to have this meeting with the PM. The PM was kind enough to give me quite a lot of time and to talk a lot about his way of thinking about India, which was quite unique because, you know, one hears about policies, but one rarely hears about the thinking behind it. And he talked about the way he sees governance in particular and why, some sense, maybe the mistrust of the people on the ground colors our governance and how it therefore creates structures of kind of elite control over the governance process.
Banerjee lauded PM Modi's vision for India. He said Prime Minister mentioned the measures and steps his government is taking to improve bureaucracy in the country.
He's trying to reform the bureaucracy to make it more responsive, to understand the ways in which people's views need to be taken into account, expose them more to the reality on the ground. And that I thought was, I think it's a very important point for India to create a bureaucracy that actually lives on the ground and gets its stimulus from how life is on the ground. And without that, we get an unresponsive government. So thank you, PM. That was a unique experience for me.
Abhijit Banerjee is a professor at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, United States. He shared this year's Nobel with co-researcher and wife Esther Duflo and Michael Kremer. Banerjee and Duflo have been awarded Nobel for their work to alleviate global poverty. News Night Desk, DD News.
Two BrahMos surface-to-surface missile tests were conducted at Thrak Island in the Andaman Nicobar group of islands over the last 2 days. The Indian Air Force in a statement said that the twin firings were carried out as a part of the routine operational training on 21st and 22nd October. The Indian Air Force also said that the missile engaged the designated mock targets close to 300 kilometers away and a direct hit on the target was achieved in both the cases. News now from Jammu and Kashmir, where 3 terrorists were gunned down in an encounter with security forces in Rajpura, Awantipura area of Pulwama district last evening. The security officials said the 3 terrorists' bodies were retrieved and their identity is being ascertained. Huge cache of arms and ammunition has also been recovered. And let's get in the updates now from our correspondent Salman Qazi, who is joining us on the phone line from Srinagar. Salman, good morning. First of all, of course, their identity, affiliation still being ascertained, so we'll know in time the identity of these terrorists. But are we given to understand that the search operation that had been launched after information was received is continuing, or is it over?
The operation is over. The firing is over. 3 military.
Salman, are you with us? All right, we'll try and reconnect with the correspondent Salman Qazi and get the latest from Jammu and Kashmir, where 3 terrorists were gunned down after, of course, inputs were received and a search operation was launched. Encounter had then, in fact, begun, in which 3 terrorists were gunned down in the Rajpura, Awantipura area in Pulwama district last evening, and their identity, affiliation is still being ascertained, and huge cache of arms and ammunition has also been recovered. Let's go back to Salman Qazi. Yes, Salman, please continue.
Yeah, the three militants have been killed. It was an operation that lasted around 3 hours, and the exchange of fire lasted for around 3 hours. So, though officially the identity and affiliation has not been ascertained, but the official sources have said that in most likelihood these 3 militants belong to JEM, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and 2 of them are suspected to be Pakistani and 1 is a local militant. According to our sources, one of the militants who has been killed is named Yasser, and he has been held responsible by the authorities responsible for killing of 2 Gujars in the August that happened this year. So yes, while this has not been officially divulged, but our sources from the Awantipura have said that these things.
Okay. All right, Salman, thanks for those inputs. We'll, of course, keep a track of all those developments. Thanks very much for the moment, though. Moving on now, in a big announcement, the Modi government has said that all the government employees of the Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will get the financial facilities as per the 7th Pay Commission's recommendations from 31st of this month. The decision will help over 4.5 lakh government employees of these Union Territories. The government will bear around 4,800 crore rupees worth of cost due to the implementation of the 7th Pay Commission in the Union Territories. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has also approved the proposal to pay all other allowances, including the children education allowance, the transport allowance, the LTC, the fixed medical allowance to these employees, the government stated. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that the Navy has a crucial role to play in the form of safeguarding the sea lines of communication, the economic lifeline to make Indian economy reach the $5 trillion mark by 2024. He was speaking at the Naval Commanders Conference. And speaking with the media later, the minister said that India has never been the aggressor, but its armed forces are capable of giving a befitting reply to those who cast an evil eye on it. India has in fact recently sent out a strong message to Pakistan by destroying the terror camps with the artillery guns. Pakistan's nefarious designs continue. It is violating the ceasefire and India is giving a befitting reply. The Indian forces have destroyed around 4 terror camps so far. These camps were destroyed using the artillery guns. The Pakistani artillery posts have also been destroyed. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has once again sent out a strong message to Pakistan. He said India has never been the aggressor, but its armed forces are capable of giving a befitting reply to those who cast an evil eye on it.
भारत का एक चरित्र रहा है कि भारत ने दुनिया के कभी किसी देश के ऊपर न तो कभी आक्रमण किया है और न दुनिया के किसी भी देश की 1 इंच जमीन पर भारत ने कभी कब्जा किया है। भारत का एक चरित्र है। लेकिन भारत की हमारी जो सेना है, जो आर्म्ड फोर्सेस हैं, उनके अंदर वह कुव्वत है, वह ताकत है, जो भारत को बुरी नजरों से देखने की कोशिश करेगा, उसका वह मुंहतोड़ जवाब दे सकेगा।
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh attended the Navy Commanders Conference in New Delhi. He said he was confident that India's seas are safe in the hands of the force. He added, Indian Navy's resolve is that 2611 will not be repeated under any circumstance and it has ensured tight vigil.
मैं पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त हूं कि हमारा यह सी रूट, जो समुद्री क्षेत्र है, वह इंडियन नेवी के हाथों में पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित है और हमारी इंडियन नेवी का भी यह संकल्प है कि किसी भी सूरत में 26/11 इसकी पुनरावृत्ति न होने पाए या किसी भी सूरत में न दोहराया जा सके। एक ऐसी चाक चौबंद व्यवस्था की है।
The minister said that the Indian Navy is marching towards indigenization and its ships have a high percentage of indigenous equipment. He also said all the 3 services have placed emphasis on the need to reduce the defense imports. The 3-day second edition of Naval Commanders Conference began on Tuesday. The conference is the apex-level biannual event for interaction between naval commanders for the deliberation and the formulation of important policy decisions. DD India. President Ramnath Kovind will travel in a bullet train at the Tokyo station today. He will also attend the unveiling ceremony of Shri Satya Sai Sanatan Sanskriti project. The President will also undertake a guided tour of the project site and Sai No Salt Sato facilities. And later in the evening, he will attend the banquet to be hosted by the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Yesterday, President Kovind addressed the Indian community in Tokyo. He said that their hard work and success had brought laurels and praise for India. The President highlighted the ties between the 2 nations and described Japan as elite partner in transforming the Indian economy.
Our bilateral ties with Japan today is counted amongst our foremost relations. Our strategic, political, security and economic collaboration has assumed a new high. Japan is a lead partner for us in transforming our economy. Their participation in the high-speed rail project from Mumbai to Ahmedabad is a symbol of our deep mutual trust and friendship.
Moving on now, the regional Met Office in Chennai has forecast more rainfall across coastal districts of Tamil Nadu following the formation of a new weather system in the Bay of Bengal off the South Andhra North Tamil Nadu coast. The department has forecast heavy to very heavy rainfall in several districts for the next 3 days. In the last 24 hours, heavy rainfall was recorded in some areas of Ramanathapuram, Dharmapuri and Tanjavur district. On Monday, the department had sounded a red alert in the western districts of the state in the wake of the formation of a low-pressure system in the Arabian Sea. Overnight rain and waterlogging has affected the vehicular movement on several roads in Chennai. The authorities in the western districts of Nilgiri, Coimbatore and Chennai besides Dindigul were advised by the Met Office in Chennai to be prepared for extremely heavy rain. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister E.K. Palanisamy held a review meeting with the senior officials of the various departments to review the state's preparedness for the northeast monsoon. And following this, the state government has sanctioned 40 crore rupees to purchase additional equipment and machinery to immediately tackle the monsoon fallout. And let's get in the latest from our correspondent Philip Matthews, who is joining us on the phone line. Philip, good morning. The Chief Minister had held a review meeting as far as, of course, the heavy rains are concerned. What measures are you seeing on the ground being followed and the arrangements that have been made to tackle the situation?
Well, for a start, an additional sum of 40 crore rupees has been sanctioned to purchase emergency equipment so that in case, there are situations where equipment like, cutters and other equipment had to be pressed into service, there will be adequate quantities of this equipment available. There have been occasions in the past when equipment has been in short supply. So clearly assessing the situation, the state government has decided to spend an additional 40 crore rupees by emergency equipment. Apart from that, of course, the teams of the Tamil Nadu Disaster Response Force have been deployed in all the flood-prone districts as part of the contingency plan to counter the heavy rainfall that's predicted in this monsoon season. A special control room has also been set up in Chennai to monitor the storage levels of reservoirs and tanks across the state around the clock. So, apart from this, we also have other agencies like the Fire and Rescue Services Department and the PWD and the Fisheries Department working in tandem to ensure that, in any emergency, the response of the state authorities will be quick. In fact, as many as nearly 10,000 first responders have also been positioned across the state to ensure that, there is a quick response to any signs of flooding or, or damage caused by the monsoon.
Okay. All right. Philip, also the red alert that had been sounded in the districts, is that still continuing, and what are you hearing from the Met Office as far as the prediction for today is concerned?
Well, the low pressure system of the Tamil Nadu coast is likely to move slightly northwards. So at the moment, at least in Chennai, the weather seems to be reasonably good. It isn't raining at the moment. But in the western districts, especially in the districts of Nilgiris, Theni and, Dindigul, for example, which join the Kerala border, these are districts which continue to face heavy rain. In fact, we're getting reports of rain from the Nilgiris, heavy rain since last night. So that is where the attention of the government will be focused. There have been instances of a few landslips, but for the moment there have been no reports of any casualties. But the focus clearly is on ensuring that the road and rail communications remain open, and that is what the state government is attempting to ensure, so that links with the rest of the state remain open. And so at the moment, although there is a threat of heavy rain, it appears to have receded for the moment, at least in North Tamil Nadu. But the western districts continue to remain under threat, and we will have to wait and see how the weather system in the Arabian Sea behaves. And if it continues to move northwards, then the possibility of rain may diminish in the coming days.
Okay. All right, Philip, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing all those inputs. Thanks very much. Moving on now, the Gujarat ATS has arrested 2 men wanted in connection with the murder of Kamlesh Tiwari. The accused Ashfaq Sheikh and Moinuddin Pathan were absconding since Tiwari's brutal killing in Lucknow. Both the accused have been arrested from Shamlaji near the Gujarat-Rajasthan border and will be handed over to the Uttar Pradesh police after completing the formalities. Meanwhile, a local court late last night remanded 3 persons who were arrested from Surat on Friday in connection with the case to 14 days judicial custody. The 3 suspects include Maulana Mohsin Sheikh, Faizan and Rashid Pathan. In some other news now, vision is not required to spread light all around, as the Festival of Lights Deepavali is all about celebrating the life that we all have. Trained in candle making, the visually impaired students of Jeevan Jyoti School in Varanasi are all decked up and excited for this Deepavali. They are making candles, lamps and decorative items to sell in the local market. And painting the diyas with colors and glitters, the money raised will be used for the upkeeping of their school. To To encourage self-employment among youth of the country, the government is running Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program. Under the scheme, the government provides a loan of up to 25 lakh rupees to establish a manufacturing plant and up to 10 lakh rupees to invest in the services sector. Harsh Shah from Aravali district in Gujarat has availed the loan under this facility. Let's see this ground report from Gujarat.
Harsh Shah has installed a machine with loan of 25 lakh rupees that he availed under Union Government's Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program. He is using the machine to manufacture multigrain cutlery such as spoons, forks and bowls. Harsh Shah uses raw material of multigrains like wheat, corn and flour of other grains, which makes it biodegradable and eco-friendly.
पीएमईजीपी गवर्नमेंट की जो प्रधानमंत्री की योजना है उसने हमें बहुत अच्छा सपोर्ट दिया और हमें मेंटली इतना प्रिपेयर किया कि हम जो इनोवेशन करने जा रहे उसमें फाइनेंशियली बहुत सपोर्ट की ज़रूरत थी और गवर्नमेंट की ये स्कीम ने हमने बहुत सपोर्ट किया.
Since it is a multigrain product, customers can also eat it and it will not be harmful if they are eaten by cattle. This is how he is also contributing towards the protection of the environment.
सारे प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे हैं कि जो नेचुरल इंग्रेडिएंट्स से बने हैं, उसमें व्हीट फ्लोर का यूज़ हुआ है, तो मतलब हम डायरेक्टली खेडूतों से मतलब फार्मर्स से जो गेहूं वगैरह परचेज कर रहे हैं और इसमें मैक्सिमम जो रॉ मटेरियल है वो व्हीट फ्लोर है और इसमें भी अलग अलग फ्लेवर्स में हम बनाने जा रहे हैं. और दूसरी चीज़ कि हम इसमें कहीं पे भी प्लास्टिक का यूज़ नहीं कर रहे, उसका पैकिंग भी हमने पेपर बैग्स में पैक किया है.
With such products, youths like Harsh Shah are contributing to environmental protection and also creating employment opportunities. Bureau Report, DD News.
Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana is being run nationwide as a tool for women empowerment and to protect women from the smoke of the firewood. This scheme has come as a great relief for the women from poor families of Solan district of Himachal Pradesh, enabling them to live a healthy life with their families. Let's take a look at this ground report.
Devi from Navi village in Kunihar block of Solan district, who belongs to BPL family, is one of the beneficiaries of the Ujjwala scheme. She had to face a great deal of drudgery in collecting firewood from forest when she had no gas connection, but free cooking gas connection under Ujjwala Yojana has provided a moment of joy in her family.
I was facing great difficulties while preparing food on earthen stove. I got relief when I received free cooking gas connection under the Ujjwala Yojana. Everyone in my family is very happy with this.
According to Devaki Devi's granddaughter Priyanka, her family has got relief from diseases due to indoor air pollution after they received free cooking gas connection.
पहले हमारे पास सिलेंडर नहीं होता था तो हमें लकड़ी काटने जंगल में जाना पड़ता था, जिसके वहाँ पे जानवरों का खतरा रहता था, जैसे बंदर वगैरह वहाँ पे रहते थे, उसका खतरा रहता था. और जब पहले सिलेंडर नहीं होता तो हमें स्कूल के लिए देरी हो जाती थी, हम क्लास मिस हो जाती थी. अब जब उज्ज्वल योजना द्वारा हमें सिलेंडर मुफ्त मिला है तो उसकी वजह से अब हम लकड़ी काटने जंगल में नहीं जाना पड़ता और हम स्कूल के लिए भी लेट नहीं होते और हम क्लास मिस नहीं करनी पड़ती.
Under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, government aims to provide 8 crore gas connections till 2021 to poor women. Till now, 6 crore eligible women have benefited from the scheme. Bureau Report, DD News.
Cine enthusiasts will have a treat at the 50th International Film Festival of India as IFFI announces to screen some of the best cinema produced in the Hindi film industry. The open screening at Goa will feature classic comedies from Padosan to Andaz Apna Apna to big blockbusters like The Gully Boy and Uri the Surgical Strike. On the theme The Joy of Cinema, a total 14 movies will be screened at two venues, that's Joggers Park, Altino and the Miramar Beach in Goa from 21st November to 27th November. And this year, Dadasaheb Phalke Award winner Amitabh Bachchan's selected 7 to 8 films will also be showcased at the movie gala. Open-air screenings will be open to everyone and will not require any registration. The entry would also be free for all. IFFI celebrates its Golden Jubilee edition from 20th to 28th November this year. Moving on now to international news now, Turkey and Russia have agreed to remove the Syrian Kurdish YPG militia to beyond 30 kilometers from the Turkish border, after which their troops will jointly patrol a narrow strip of land in the safe zone that Ankara has long sought in northern Syria. This afternoon, Russian military police and the Syrian border guards will move in to facilitate the removal of the YPG members and weapons to beyond the zone in a mission that should take about 6 days. That's according to the deal. Speaking at a joint news conference with the Russian President Vladimir Putin, Turkish President Erdogan said that Turkish and Russian troops would conduct joint patrols in northern Syria within 10 kilometers of the border. The YPG, which led the Kurdish SDF forces that for years were US's allies in the fight against the Islamic State, will also leave the towns of Tel Rifat and Manbij under the deal struck between Erdogan and the Russian President Vladimir Putin in Russia's Sochi resort on the Black Sea. Meanwhile, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad made a rare visit to a front line of Syria's conflict yesterday. He toured an area in the war-torn northwestern Idlib province close to the last major bastion of the Turkey-backed rebel forces. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin discussed the situation in northern Syria in a phone call with Assad. Putin told Assad that any agreement between Turkey and Russia will focus on fighting all kinds of terror and dismantle any separatist agendas on the Syrian land. Assad also reassured Putin his complete refusal of any invasion of Syrian land under any pretext, adding that Syria will continue to fight terror on Syrian land by all legitimate means. And thousands of Syrian Kurds waited in the refugee camps in neighboring Iraq on Tuesday, having fled across the border in hope of escaping the violence of the sudden Turkish cross-border offensive. According to the UN, around 80,000 children have been uprooted. Only around 7,100 Syrian Kurds have made it over the border to the neighboring Iraq. The rest are stuck mostly in Kurdish-run Syrian towns like Hasaka. And much of the northeast was controlled by the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, whose main component is the YPG militia, seen by Turkey as a terror group because of its links to the Kurdish insurgents in southeast Turkey. The latest now on Brexit, as British Prime Minister Boris Johnson loses a crucial vote in Parliament on the timetable for departure. European Council President Donald Tusk has recommended that the other 27 member states of European Union approve a delay of Britain's departure date. The MPs had voted yesterday to reject the Brexit bill 3-day timetable by 322 votes to 308. The MPs though backed the withdrawal agreement bill, but minutes later voted against the timetable, leaving it in limbo. The next step, Prime Minister Johnson said, would be waiting for the European Union to respond to a request to delay the 31st October Brexit date, which he reluctantly sent to Brussels on Saturday after being forced to do so by the lawmakers. After Justin Trudeau-led the Liberal Party lost majority in the Canada general elections, the Indian origin Canadian Jagmeet Singh-led New Democratic Party with 24 seats is likely to emerge as the kingmaker. The Liberal Party won 157 seats in 338-member lower house, while the main opposition, the Conservatives, secured 121 seats. Trudeau will now require at least 13 legislators from his left-leaning rival parties to reach the magic number of 170 to form a Liberal Party-led minority government. The Green Party, though, has already indicated to remain in the opposition. The Bloc Québécois leader has also apparently signalled at his unwillingness to join the government. The NDP leader in a post-poll rally indicated that the NDP will play a constructive role in the new parliament.
From coast to coast to coast, tonight Canadians rejected division and negativity. They rejected cuts and austerity, and they voted in favor of a progressive agenda and strong action on climate change. You are sending our Liberal team back to work, back to Ottawa with a clear mandate. We will make life more affordable. We will continue to fight climate change. We will get guns off our streets, and we will keep investing in Canadians.
I'm hoping that Mr. Trudeau respects the fact that there's a minority government now, which means we've got to work together. Our priorities are very clear. We've laid those out throughout the campaign. We want to see investments in healthcare. We want to see housing more affordable. We want to help out students. We want real action on climate justice. We've laid out those priorities, and we want to make sure that reconciliation is taken seriously.
The Vice President of Bolivia's Supreme Electoral Tribunal, Antonio Costas, has tendered his resignation to President Evo Morales amid controversies over the results of the presidential election. He cited the foolish decision by the rest of the 6-member panel to interrupt publication of results of an official quick count vote in Sunday's presidential elections. His resignation comes as anti-government protests continued for a second day over the disputed preliminary results of the elections, as it was still unclear whether Morales would be forced to a runoff election with chief rival Carlos Mesa. Meanwhile, Bolivian Foreign Minister has announced that an official note has been sent to the Organization of American States inviting it to carry out an audit. The organization is scheduled to hold a meeting today. And let's now move on to our next segment, the finance world. Now, in mounting troubles for the Infosys, the US-based Rawson law firm has said it is preparing a class action lawsuit to recover losses suffered by investors in the wake of the allegations of the unethical practices at the IT major. Infosys has registered its biggest fall in over 6 years on the Lal Street after a letter by anonymous employees surfaced accusing the Chief Executive Officer Salil Parekh and the Chief Financial Officer Nilanjan Roy of unethical practices for several quarters. The chairman and co-founder Nandan Nilekani has though pledged a full probe, saying the complaint had been placed before the audit committee. And the Reserve Bank of India, the central bank, has assured depositors of the crisis-hit Punjab and Maharashtra cooperative, the PMC Bank, that their money is safe. The RBI officials met a delegation of the PMC depositors yesterday in Mumbai. And after the scam was unearthed in the bank that has deposits of over 11,000 crore rupees, the Reserve Bank of India has appointed an administrator over it and capped its withdrawals at 40,000 rupees per account for 6 months. And we are moving on now to sports news. One of India's most decorated captain, Ganguly, will be taking over as 39th president of the BCCI today at its annual general meeting, ending a tumultuous 33-month reign of the Supreme Court appointed the Committee of Administrators. Ganguly is the unanimous nomination for the post of the BCCI president. And the star Indian shuttler PV Sindhu has advanced to the second round of the ongoing French Open after defeating Canada's Michelle Lee in the first round. Sindhu defeated Lee in straight games 21-15, 21-13. The 24-year-old was relentless in the first game and she ended up winning it in just 20 minutes. Shubhankar Dey notched up an upset win over Tommy Sugiarto of Indonesia to advance to the men's singles second round. The world number 42 Indian rallied to beat his world number 17 opponent 15-21, 21-14, 21-17 in an hour 18 minutes first round match in the BWF Super 750 tournament. And let's now move on. In fact, we will be moving on in just a bit, but get you some news from the French Open still. And in fact, some other on the badminton as well. Today, Saina Nehwal and Parupalli Kashyap will be in action in the respective first round matches. And let's now move on to our next segment, the morning print, to get you a glimpse of what the national dailies are carrying this morning. We are beginning first with the news from Hindustan Times, and this is about the upper house to have stricter rules, and this talks about Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu, the Vice President of India, is expected to discuss with the parties across the political spectrum the possibility of amending House rules to suspend promptly Rajya Sabha members of Parliament who repeatedly disrupt proceedings, a government official has said. In fact, Naidu is also expected to brainstorm with them on a code of conduct aimed to discourage the lawmakers from rushing to the well of the House to protest against the government or political parties. So, of course, making sure that decorum is maintained in Parliament. Moving on now to this news from the Statesman, and this is a statement by the Jammu and Kashmir Governor Satyapal Malik, who is in fact hit out at the separatists and the leaders of mainstream political parties, clerics and religious preachers for getting the ordinary Kashmiri youth killed in terrorism. He's in fact said that none of their own children were injured or even picked up arms during militancy. He was speaking at the convocation of the Shri Mata Vaishno Devi University at Katra, alleging that affluent and powerful sections have crushed the dreams of the youth in Kashmir and destroyed their lives. He also appealed to the people to understand the truth and join the centre's efforts to usher peace and progress in the state. Moving on now to the Indian Express, this news about Assam announcing 2-child limit for the jobs in government, following up on the population policy passed in the State Assembly 2 years ago. The Assam cabinet has decided that those with more than 2 children will not be eligible for the government jobs from January 2021. And announcing the decision on Twitter, the Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal's office has posted, I quote, "In a revolutionary move, the cabinet has approved 2-child norms and prohibition of Child Marriage Act norms for entry and the continuation in the government service." Remember, the move comes 2 months after Prime Minister Modi flagged the issue of population explosion in his Independence Day speech. We are moving on now to news from the Hindu, where telecom companies are likely to get more time to pay 42,000 crore rupees in spectrum dues, and this is to provide relief to the debt-ridden telecom sector. The central government is considering a proposal to allow a 2-year moratorium to telecom operators on the pending spectrum payment, which will help them to avoid an outflow of over 42,000 crore rupees. The government is also mulling a reduction in the universal service obligation levy to 3% from the present 5%. And in fact, this is being done to help improve the cash flows for telecom service providers in the short to medium term by avoiding the immediate cash flows of over 42,000 crore rupees for the next 2 financial years, that's 2020-21 and 21-22. And towards the end, here's a news that's coming in from Chennai, where smartwatches are making the Chennai metro rides easier, and this is about how standing in line for a ticket and cumbersome recharge process for travel or trip cards may soon be a thing of the past for the commuters of the Chennai metro rail. In fact, the Chennai Metro Rail Limited and the watch manufacturers have come together to make watches that will allow commuters to just flash their wristwatches at the automatic ticketing gates and walk into the trains. In fact, they have also held discussions with the watch manufacturer and are working to finalize the details of this project. In fact, the prototypes are also ready, so something to learn there for the national capital from the Chennai Metro as to how really make the rides easier for the commuters. With that, it's a wrap on the morning print for now. Let's move on now to our next segment, the history of the day, taking a look at the significance of this day in the past.
On this day in 1707, the Parliament of Great Britain, created by the Acts of Union between England and Scotland, held its first meeting. On the same day in 1915, as part of the women's suffrage movement, 25,000 women marched up Fifth Avenue in New York City demanding the right to vote. On this day in 1983, a suicide truck bombing at Beirut International Airport in Lebanon killed 220 US Marines, 18 sailors and 3 army soldiers. A near simultaneous attack on French forces killed 58 paratroopers. On the same day in 2001, Apple released the first iPod capable of storing 1,000 songs. The iPod came with a 5 GB hard drive and was fully Mac compatible.
And a look now at the important events for today.
President Ramnath Kovind, who is on a 3-day visit to Japan to participate in the official banquet hosted by Japanese PM Shinzo Abe, president to take one of the superfast trains to visit Kakegawa City. Facebook Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg to testify before the US Congress on the social media giant's plans to launch Libra cryptocurrency following pressure from lawmakers. Former Indian captain Saurav Ganguly to take charge as the new president of the Board of Control for Cricket in India at the Indian Cricket Board's annual general meeting in Mumbai.
And moving on now to our health story of the day, and today the topic is changing with time and technology. Well, over the years, the technology has successfully attempted to enter our body and change the way of thinking, and the target is the human blood and emotions. With introducing high intelligence robots in humanity, technology is no doubt compromising on trying and building new techniques that can change the way we live entirely for the better. Here's a report.
Change is the basic principle of life. Some people find it difficult to adapt to these changes. What is the importance of changing with time and technology? To talk about this, we have with us Dr. Nimesh Desai. How important is it to change with time and technology?
For a person, for a community, for a nation, and for human race, adapting to change and especially changing technology is actually very crucial. If you look at history and the current 21st century difficulties, one of the difficulties is the lack of ability or the relative inability to adapt to technology. If you pause and think, every new technology from fire to pen to atom bomb to mobile phones, all of them, I must say, are essentially double-edged swords. It depends on us, each one of us individually or as a group, how much we use it appropriately or inappropriately. Technology has, on balance, always helped. And so, my message to the viewers would be, use technology, appreciate its use, adapt easily, use technology effectively, appropriately.
Some people find it difficult to adapt to changes in life.
A society that adapts itself to change better and quickly will survive more. So that's well known. There are some subpopulations or subgroups which will find it difficult. Elderly people will find it difficult. Socially disadvantaged people will find it difficult. Exploited women, street children, homeless people, or socio-economically disadvantaged. And so the first thing is, of course, social equality. But what's important is for those who are well endowed, for those of us who are lucky, to make sure that the benefits of technology and every change reaches the lowest person. And that's the job of those who are better privileged.
Dr. Desai, what can be done to modify oneself according to the time and technology?
Individually, it's very important to have an open mind and skill set that should be modifiable. Those of us who are able to adapt to this easily function more effectively. So an open mind and a skill set that's modifiable.
Thank you, Dr. Desai, for talking to us. Keep moving in your life, accept the changes. This will keep you energized, motivated, and keep up the high spirits in your life. Kiran Bhardwaj, DD News.
And time now for a Good News India story. Well, meet Homi Sarakan, the former raw chief who took up full-time organic farming after retirement in his ancestral village in Alapur district. 12 years after retiring as a research and analysis wing chief, PK Homi Sarakan has a new assignment for himself, and this time it is in the agriculture field. Here's a report.
Life after retirement can get empty, devoid of the regular routine of going to office and getting back. But not for PK Hermes Tharkan. Once the head of India's premier intelligence agency RAW, Tharkan took to organic farming after his retirement. His advice to retirees: take up farming and live and breathe healthy and fit.
We had come back to the village and we're trying to revive farming. Unfortunately, however, by 2014, he passed away, by which time I had just finished building a house here and had returned from Bangalore, where I had gone after retirement in 2007.
Hermes Tharkan retired in 2007. He served thereafter as a professor in Manipal University as well as advisor to the governor of Karnataka. In 2014, he returned to his native home in Alapura to retire in peace. As he took up farming, he was helped by various government schemes, such as one paddy, one fish, as he went on. This year, his yield was 1,000 kilograms of fish. The transition from raw chief to organic farmer was far from easy, but his success is an example for many to follow. For Good News India, from Thiruvananthapuram, Rashmi Roja's report, DD News.
Dubai Duty Free celebrated the Festival of Lights Deepavali at the Dubai International Airport yesterday with a special reception attended by the Indian Consul General to Dubai. To mark the festivities, Kathak dance was performed by the dance group Ocean Kids to welcome the guests there. And let's now move on, check the weather in your city for today. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the Breakfast News. But before we go today, we are leaving you with the glimpses of a painting exhibition based on the life of Guru Nanak Dev Ji to commemorate his 550th birth anniversary. Take a look at those visuals and we wish you a great day ahead. Thanks for being with us. नहीं अभी 9 बजे तो हिंदी का